Project Hail Mary was given a preview screening a week before its general release on the 20th of March. Directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who were both behind 21 Jump Street, the Lego Movie and Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. The directors had over $200 million at their disposal to make the picture. The film's production began way back in March of 2020. MGM was nearing a deal to acquire the rights to adapt Andy Weir's upcoming novel Project Hail Mary. Andy had written The Martian, which was a huge success as a book, and with its film adaptation directed by Ridley Scott, starring Matt Damon. So film studios were keen to jump on Andy's next writing project. Ryan Gosling was in early talks to star in the film, with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller set to direct. Drew Goddard, who had previously adapted Weir's The Martian into a feature film, was hired to write the screenplay. When Amazon took over MGM, things were set in motion for its release in 2026. Principal photography began in June of 2024 in the UK at Shepperton Studios, and they wrapped in October of that year. As they were filming in the UK, they made use of locations in Portsmouth and Cambridge. For the visual effects, Framestore, ILM and Sony Imageworks would handle the workload, with practical effects being deployed for Rocky, which would be built and designed by Neil Scanlon and his Creature Shop. Neil had worked on classics like Return to Oz, Labyrinth and Ninja Turtles. Rocky would be performed by puppeteer James Ortiz and his team, who were on set with Ryan in every scene, and James would also provide his voice for Rocky. So far, the film has received glowing reviews from the critics, with Empire magazine awarding it 4 out of 5, saying, "A very watchable old-school blockbuster crowd-pleaser. Ryan Gosling and an alien made of rocks are the best space-based double act since R2-D2 and C-3PO. Robbie Collin, who was often difficult to please, also awarded it 4 out of 5, saying, "Does it have many original ideas of its own? Perhaps not. But it's the greatest hits mixtape of other people's work that has been compiled with such flair, as well as a sound comprehension of why they worked so well the first time, that it's hard not to be swept up regardless." For the film's story, in the near future, scientists realise the sun is dimming, as they discover a microscopic cell is eating the sun, giving the people of Earth 30 years before the sun dies out. A scientist called Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, works as a school teacher, and he is hired by the government to research and discover why this is happening, and he's sent on a mission into deep space to another sun that hasn't been affected. Awakening from his long journey, he struggles to remember how he got there, suffering from amnesia. When he begins to figure out what's going on, he spots an alien spacecraft and begins to communicate with it, and finds a little alien in the form of a rock, which he calls Rocky. They are both there for the same reason. They form a close bond as they begin their journey to stop their homeworlds from being destroyed. I was really looking forward to seeing this film. The trailers were brilliant and well edited. Having another adaptation of Andy Weir's work with Drew Goddard working on the screenplay, you know you're in safe hands. Though I hadn't read the book, I was informed they were structurally a bit different. Ryan Gosling is extremely likeable as an actor. He can do dramatic performances with ease, but also has brilliant comedic timing. His performance in The Nice Guys is one of my favourites, so with him as Grace and being alone for large chunks of the movie before Rocky arrives, he effortlessly keeps you engaged with the story. Project Hail Mary, for me, felt very much like a 1980s movie with its tone. It has that Steven Spielberg vibe to it, and even taps into 1970s cinema, with the film starting with the MGM logo they were using in the 70s and into the early 80s. The loneliness and friendship Grace makes with Rocky taps into Douglas Trumbull's Silent Running. But it's not all about being inspired by movies of that decade. It does have shades of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. They're both set out with somewhat similar goals, but with Nolan's approach being very serious with its tone, Project Hail Mary's direction has the attitude of let's have fun with this and make it an exciting journey of discovery and friendship. From the trailers you know they're going with this comedic direction, because it doesn't play on the idea that space is scary. The stakes are certainly high, but it does have a sense of lightness and charm to it. Having a human make friends with an alien is not something you see anymore. It was very much a thing during the 80s, thanks to the success of E.T., so it feels like a throwback to those times, but not smashing you over the head wanting to play on nostalgia. It takes what worked in the past and reimagines it through a modern lens. You could argue it doesn't bring along much of its own original ideas, but it presents them in a new way, so it feels quite refreshing. It also makes a nice little reference to Superman the movie, which gets extra points in my book. What makes the movie work so well is the strong bond between Grace and Rocky. Having a puppet on set really helps Ryan and his performance. If it was just a ball on the stick with a CG character comped in later, I don't think it would have worked as well. You become so invested in these two characters, you don't want anything to happen to them that would put their lives at risk. And there are moments that will leave you on the edge of your seat, hoping things will work out okay for them. There were a couple of moments that left me a bit teary-eyed. It does effectively pull those emotional gut punches now and again. The visual effects throughout are extremely impressive. When it comes to space and dealing with spacecrafts, visual effects artists had that figured out years ago, and it all blends seamlessly. The production design of the ship feels more advanced than, say, Interstellar, but also makes logical sense with how Grace operates things and has to suit up to go into outer space. Though the science behind everything left me a little confused, probably on second viewing things will make a little bit more sense, but it's not really a problem, but being in the mindset of just going along with it was the best case scenario. Project Hail Mary doesn't come with a traditional film score you come to expect from this type of film. Composer Daniel Pemberton, who worked on Spider-Verse and will be providing the score to the new Masters of the Universe movie, does something very different with this film, with a mix of comedic cues that would fit perfectly in French cinema. They deploy these choral religious themes, making for a more worldly sound to the score that makes it very unique and very different to what you hear in modern sci-fi films. I was genuinely surprised how effective the score was. I left the cinema with a big smile on my face, and it didn't leave my thoughts. Often you walk out of a film and say, yeah, that was alright, I enjoyed that, then you forget about it and move on to something else. But this stuck around in my head because it really impressed me, with cinema being in a bit of a bad state at the moment, with many great films struggling to make much of an impact, and ones that are average at best surprisingly make a huge profit, which shifts the mindset of film studios to focus on a certain type of movie, to make a quick buck and avoid risk, thus there is a lack of variety. Project Hail Mary is a very expensive film and not something that could be seen as risky, but it hits all the right notes. With a lengthy runtime of just over 2.5 hours, I didn't feel it dragged or felt scenes needed to be cut out, as you want to spend time with these two characters, as their friendship is what keeps you invested and you want the best outcome for them. With all the horrible stuff that's going on in the world at the moment, it's a breath of fresh air to watch a film that shows the best of humanity. A guy makes friends with an alien who is completely different and not seen as hostile. They are both scientists with the same goal. This is a film that deserves to find a large audience. It's quite rare nowadays to watch a film that makes you feel really good after watching it, and not left feeling slightly underwhelmed, or you find yourself complaining about a number of elements that could have made it better. Project Hail Mary is the perfect package. My whole YouTube channel is about nostalgia, and Project Hail Mary encompasses many elements that I celebrate about movies of the past, and I expect and hope this film will be talked about in years to come, and one to watch with your friends or family, which should result in everyone feeling very happy by the end. That's the beauty of cinema when it's done well.
I will not let Grace die.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click the like button and hit the bell to be notified of my latest reviews. Big thanks to my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel. If you want to get involved and gain access to exclusive videos and take part in Q&As, follow the link below.